Ladies and gentlemen, we are at that time of the show. Are y'all ready to see who we came here to see? No, that's not good enough. Are y'all ready to see who we came here to see? Yes, man. Y'all know this brother very well, man. He don't need no introduction. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please give it up for Dr. Umar Johnson! Keep it clapping, y'all. Keep it clapping.
Black Queens forever. Black Queens forever. Black Queens forever. Make some noise, DMV. What's going on? All right. It's an honor to be back in the DMV. Earlier today, I was in Harpers Ferry, Virginia. And I went to Harpers Ferry because 165 years ago today, 5 black men on August the 16th of 1859, they accompanied John Brown to the Federal Arsenal in Harpers Ferry with the intent of taking over that arsenal, taking possession of the weapons, arming all of our enslaved African ancestors, and leading one of the largest slave revolts in American history. But they were unsuccessful. The raid lasted about 36 hours. John Brown was captured. He was hung on December the 2nd. A black man by the name of Dangerfield Newby, who many say inspired Jamie Foxx's character in the Django movie. He was the first to die. He was shot through the neck with a railroad spike out of a gun because the citizens didn't have bullets. And so he fell almost instantly. Another black man by the name of Shields Green, who was of African royalty. His name was actually Emperor. There's a movie called Emperor. You need to watch it. I think it's on Hulu. It's about the life of Shields Green, who escaped from slavery out of Charleston, South Carolina, made his way up to Rochester, New York. He lived in a home with my ancestor Frederick Douglass for a while until he met John Brown. He would be captured and he would be hanged December the 16th, right next to another black man by the name of John Anthony Copeland, who was also captured at the Harpers Ferry raid. They were hanged together, and there was only one black man who survived that raid. His name was Osborne Anderson from Chester, Pennsylvania. He's actually buried in a cemetery not too far from here. He wrote a book called A Voice from Harpers Ferry. If you ever get a chance, you could probably get the book for free. Just Google A Voice from Harpers Ferry, Osborne Anderson, and read the story of the brave black men who gave their life for African people to be free. And the fifth and final black man was a brother by the name of, what was his name? Lewis Sheridan Leary. He also died in that war. John Brown took 21 men. Of that 21, 5 of them were black. Of those 5 blacks, 4 of them gave their life. But what bothered me today, when I was at the Harpers Ferry National Historic Monument, was there was no paraphernalia available for sale representing the 5 Africans. Everything was John Brown this and John Brown that, as it should be, because he was the leader of the raid and he too gave his life. But how do you ignore those 5 black men? So I'm going to be writing a letter to the National Park Service. And I'm going to say the next time I come up here, I want to see some t-shirts and books and plaques and pictures of my 5 black ancestors who died here in Harpers Ferry. So brothers and sisters, I got to say right off from the start so y'all understand me, and I'm not going to be too long because we're going to do an interview part of this, okay? So I'm just going to talk for a little bit because y'all know I can talk all night. The African Holy Ghost take over. But because we have an interview session, which is going to give you guys a chance to ask Dr. Umar whatever you want, okay, I'm not going to speak too long. But number one, a couple things I want to clarify. The snow bunny crisis. women. I do not hate you. I don't. I respect all women. I don't care what the race, what the ethnicity is. I want to be clear about that. I want black men with black women because black women are the last married and the first divorced. If I care about the black community, I have to be about saving the black family. So this is not about a repudiation of Caucasian. That's not what this is. This is about a love and adoration of the women who come from my race. It is about loyalty to African women. And by the way, if we got any bunny hopping ass black men here, feel free to leave right now. See, black men don't want to admit it, but we date outside the race because we need validation. And so when the white woman opens her legs and let the black man go swimming in the milk, that's his validation that he's been accepted into the Caucasian society. And I'm telling all my sisters right now, don't let no black man who been skinny dipping in the skim milk and think he gonna come back and get some whole wheat Cinnabons. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. No. I don't date women who dated outside the race. I still love them, they're my sisters, but I can't date them because for a black woman to expose your heaven to the eternal enemies of African people and think you're gonna crawl your ass back in my bed, we got problems. See, what I need black men to understand is marriage is a financial contract. So this is not about you loving the white woman. It is about what the community loses when she decides to trade you in and get an upgrade. Look at Tiger Woods. That white woman took $1 billion of his money. She was a housemaid. She's a billionaire now. I mean, look at all these divorce settlements. Y'all see these athletes. Look at all the wealth the black community is losing because you need a self-esteem booster shot. We can't be doing this. The snow bunny crisis is out of control. And let me say this. When we do get reparations, there will be no payout to any bunny hoppers, male or female. You out your damn mind if you're going to take my ancestors' restitution and take it home to a white man or a white woman. You out your damn mind. What's the use of getting reparations if you're going to give it right back to the people who gave it to us? So there will be no reparations for bunny hoppers. In fact, I'm working on a bunny island. I'm going to have a place where I can take all you interracial loving ass coons and just disconnect you out the community. Oh, I love being black. Look at all these beautiful black women in here tonight. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hey, Dr. Umar.
How you doing, my beautiful African queen? I see you, dark cinnamon. I see warm almond. I see butterscotch. I see buttercream. I see guave. I see mahogany brown. I see deep dark sugar. Nothing's more beautiful than a black woman. And the only thing more beautiful than a black woman is a black woman with her own natural hair. Where my natural hair sisters at? Where my natural hair sisters at? Now listen, sisters. If you're not natural, I still love you. Don't get it twisted. I still love you. But I want you to go natural. Because too many black women are getting brain cancer, fibroid tumors from weave and perm juice. So all my, first of all, Howard University, make some noise. Where Howard University at? What about Bowie State? You got Bowie State there? Pay that tuition, family. Pay that tuition. What about Coppin State University? Get you a student loan. Morgan State. UDC. Where my UDC Africans at? That's what I'm talking about. That brother paid his tuition for the next 2 years. University of Maryland Eastern Shore. What about Hampton? Norfolk State? Delaware State University. Lincoln. Oh, we got Lincoln in the bill. Where Lincoln at? What about my Cheney University Africans at? Virginia State? All right. That brother rep for the whole college by himself. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love being African, boy. Where my Omega Psi Phi brothers at? Omega Psi Phi. Kappa Alpha Psi. Phi Beta Sigma. Alpha Phi Alpha. Where my iotas at? Alpha Kappa Alpha. She paid her dues. Zeta Phi Beta. She's still on Mount Pleasant. It's all right. Sigma Gamma Rho. Okay, Sigma Gamma Rho kind of heavy up in there. And did I do my Delta Sigma Thetas? All right, all right. I love the Divine Nine. People be hating on the Divine Nine. I'm not a Divine Nine, but I love and I support and I respect the Divine Nine. All right? Because some of the chapters do a lot of good work in the community, y'all. Okay? Yes, indeed. I support the Divine Nine. Now, Alpha Kappa Alpha, we're going to have a private conversation about Kamala Harris, okay? But we're not going to do that today. Okay? That's a conversation for another time. But everybody talking about Sean Puffy Combs right now, right? Puff Daddy. And Kanye, right? And Eric Adams. And listen, two things can be true at the same time. If Puffy is guilty, yes, he should be held accountable for the crimes. Hands down. Black women are victimized more by domestic abuse and sex trafficking and rape than any other group. So I am very, very concerned about sex trafficking. And if Puffy did the crime, he should do the time. But we got to give him due process. Show us the evidence. If the evidence is there, he should do the time. But what I don't believe in is convicting black people just because I don't personally like them. Because, you know, that's what white folks did to us for over 100 years. If somebody said a black man raped a white woman, they would just string us up and lynch us. They didn't let due process take its course. So no matter how you might personally feel about Sean Combs or anybody else, you should still be a supporter of due process because you might be next. And how would you like it if somebody said you shouldn't have your right to get your day in crowd? And Kanye West, I knew he was going to get snow bunnied sooner or later. Because he can't leave him alone. Kim Kardashian, then he married the other one, they get a divorce. Now this one come out the blue talking about Kanye promised her a $3 million, $4 million job. And he reneged on the job offer. So now he's guilty of sex abuse. As far as I'm concerned, she done told on herself. Because how did you finagle a job offer when he abused me? Which one is it? Do you want the damn job or did he abuse you? And black men, y'all gotta understand something. These non-black women only date you for what they can get out you. You should know this by now. You should know this by now. Everybody knows that none of these white women would even be looking at your ass if you didn't have no money. So I don't know why we keep on doing this. Okay, she gets 2 babies in, 2 years in, and then she trade you in. We got to be smarter than this. We're losing too much wealth. And for my mixed race Africans, I love you as much as all the Africans. I don't make no difference. No, I'm serious about that. You got a white mom and a black dad, or a white dad and a black mom, as long as you identify as African full-time, we good. I really do mean that. The problem is some of y'all want to be black at Howard and white when you go home for the summer. You can't do that. You got to be black all the time. And some of y'all clapping, y'all need to be black all the time too. Now this whole presidential election thing, brothers and sisters, listen, where I'm sitting at, I'm looking to see who's going to promise us something. Because I don't see either side, not the red or the blue plantation. I don't see nothing on the table. I ain't heard a word about what they're going to do about the police, neither side. I ain't heard a word about what they're going to do about mass incarceration either side. I ain't heard a word about what they're going to do about gentrification, homelessness. We got the highest black homelessness rate since Dr. King walked the earth, and y'all giving migrants $10,000 credit cards. Something's wrong with that. Something's wrong with that. And Howard University and my whole DMV family, let me say this to y'all. Stop calling yourself a person of color and start calling yourself black like you are. Stop calling yourself a person of color and start calling yourself black. Person of color is a trap to get black people to identify with all these non-white immigrants who can't stand you any more than white people. But if they can get you to identify with all these non-white immigrants, they can serve the immigrants, ignore you because you're still upholding the same identity banner. Stop it. Black. When I walk into a meeting, I'm here to talk about the black children. I'm here to talk about the black community. I want what's best for the brown people. I want what's best for the yellow people. I want what's best for the red people, but I'm here to advocate for the black people. Don't be afraid to prioritize your people. For too long, we have been ashamed and afraid to prioritize our own people. Part of that comes from religion, because 95% of us in this room was raised on colorblind religion. Let's just be honest. I don't care if you're Muslim, Christian, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventist, you was taught God don't see color. Well, maybe he don't, but the slave master damn sure do. And we need to make intelligent decisions about what we've been through, what we're going through, and where we're going to go. So Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, if you want my black vote, you got to give me something more than identity politics. You got to give me something more than I think I might do something for you. That's not going to work, because black people are the only people in America who are expected to vote and get nothing out of it. No other group is expected to vote and get nothing out of it. And then when you don't vote, they want to do ancestral shaming. Or Dr. King is going to be upset with you. Fannie Lou Hamer is going to be upset with you. Rosa Parks is going to be upset with you. No. Dr. King didn't struggle for the vote so we don't get nothing from it. He struggled so we could get something from it. It's about getting, voting is a transaction. Voting is not a religion. Voting is not a way of life. Voting is not a ritual. Voting is a business deal. You want my vote? I need some tangibles. I need some concessions. And I'm going to be honest with you, my Democratic Party plantation slaves in the room, I'm going to be honest with you. Listen. I saw Charlemagne's conversation with Vice President Harris. And I'm going to be honest with you. And shout out to my brother Charlemagne, but I'm going to be honest with you. Kamala Harris lost a lot of points with a lot of black people. Because you're on a black platform. In Detroit, the blackest major city in America, and you still wouldn't promise black people nothing. The one brother asked her, what are you going to do specifically for black people? And she talked about buying a house. Walk through the ghetto in D.C. and ask Negroes what their biggest problem is. I promise you it won't be a mortgage. Oh, voter suppression. Ain't nobody worried about no damn voter suppression. They want a job. They want good education for their children. Listen, I'm a school psychologist. And black people, I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why we don't get a lot of respect, and I'm going to wrap this up so we can get into the interview side. But a big reason why we don't get a lot of respect is we're one of the only groups of African people in the world, y'all, in the world, who have the financial wherewithal to solve our own problems if we really wanted to. Listen now, we are a $2 trillion people. You're the richest group of blacks in the world. You're the 10th richest economy on earth. So why do most black kids in Virginia go to public schools ran by snow bunnies? Why do most black kids in Maryland go to public schools ran by snow bunnies? Why do most black children in D.C. go to public schools ran by snow bunnies? If we really loved ourselves, if we really believed in ourselves, we would take control of our children's education. It's no getting around. It is an insult to our ancestors that we are not educating our own babies. Brothers and sisters, the most important question you got to ask yourself tonight on this 165th memorial of the John Brown raid. This is also the anniversary of the Million Man March convened by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan many years ago here in D.C., October 16, 1995. I was young, but I was there. Brothers and sisters, do we want to be free? Because in my opinion, most of us just want to be comfortable with oppression. We don't want to end the oppression. Yeah. Listen to me, students. Howard University, every one of you, Coppin, Bowie, Morgan, UMES, Norfolk, all of you, even those of you who go to PWIs, every black college student has to make a decision. Are you going to use your college education to benefit your race or the oppressors of your race? Half of you in here are going to be coons. No, be honest. No, let's be honest. Half of y'all in here are going to be coons. The white man gonna offer you a job and you gonna be good. Let's just be honest. Black folks are in love with money, not freedom. You in love with merchandise, not justice. And America knows it. See, when Freddie Gray had his spinal cord separated from his skull, we rioted, we rebelled. When Michael Brown was unalive, we rioted, we rebelled with Sandra Bland and Breonna Taylor and Amir Locke and Philando Castile and Alton Sterling and little Tamir Rice, all these police murdered, Sonia Massey. We rebelled, we rioted, we marched, but I wasn't impressed. Why, Dr. Umar? Because anybody can tear something down. But we're the people who want to build something. We keep talking about Black Wall Street. Can I ask you a question? $2 trillion? Why you ain't got a single Black Wall Street in America? Not one. You're the richest group of black people in the world. Not even in D.C., Chocolate City. There's nowhere I can go in Maryland, nowhere I can go in Virginia, nowhere I can go in the Carolinas and D.C. and find a black community that owns its own school and its own bank and its own hospital and its own supermarket. Why not? You need a school to teach the people. You need a supermarket to feed the people. You need a hospital to save the people. You need a bank to invest in the people. Why we don't have any Black Wall Streets in America? We keep talking about Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma was over 100 years ago. Why are we still talking about Tulsa? Why are we not making Tulsa? Because you don't want to be free. You just want to be comfortable. You don't mind white folks being in charge as long as you got your Mercedes. You don't mind white people being in charge as long as you got a $5,000 sewing weave. You don't mind white folks being in charge unless you can get you the latest pair of Air Jordans. Why the hell I want to wear a sneaker of a Negro married to a snow bunny? Why? $2 million on Air Jordans every year? $4 million on liquor every year? $30 million on hair, weave, perm, and beauty products. Black women, let me ask you a question. Why you spend more money on beauty products than all other women in America put together? Because for 400 years, somebody kept telling you you was ugly. And you still believe you were unattractive. There's no other way to explain black women spending that type of money. I really do hope that some of you sisters come up with a natural beauty movement. We need a natural beauty movement. Organically African women is what we need from head to toe. No fake eyelashes, no fake ass cheeks, no fake breasts, no fake hair. Clap if you are all natural, sister. We're not organic. Head to toe. Everything is real. Everything is real. And black men, we can pick on the black women who are not natural. And you know why black men cannot pick on black women who are not natural? Because we're the reasons they're not natural. It's our fault, brothers. We want them to look like white women. We want them to be all skinny. And sisters, listen. If you want to get a weight loss job, listen. Ancestors, forgive me. Look, make sure your head to body ratio matches. You cannot have a 50-gallon Dr. Umar head. with a 75-pound Glorilla body. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about Glorilla, because she's naturally teeny. That's her. But some of y'all will have a big head and go get the skinny body. That shit don't look right. Your neck all skinny. That don't look right. You need a kickstand for your damn head. Don't do that. Listen, if you're a voluptuous queen, you're a voluptuous queen. Where my full-figured queens at in the building? Unapologetically full-figured. And black men, listen. No woman will love you like a full-figured woman, I'm telling you. The brothers is quiet, but they know I know what I'm talking about. And women, don't let other women cook for your man. Sisters, are you listening? If your man loves home-cooked food, now some of y'all lucky because your man is a chef. He can cook himself. So you got it easy, sister. You good. But black women, if you got a man who grew up with a mother who cooked, my mother cooked. So my woman got to cook. And if your man said he wants some cooked food and you don't want to cook, you know what's going to happen? Another woman who don't look as good as you. She ain't going to be all curvy like you. She ain't going to be all fine and 5'5", thick in the thighs like you. And guess what? She's going to steal your man by studying what you don't do for him. And she's going to cater to the ego that you ignored. And the first thing a woman going to target on your man is his belly. Oh yeah. Let another woman cook for your man, she will have him. Because the two strongest cravings of a man is sex and hunger. Let me tell you how this works out, sister. See, some of y'all already got your man stolen in the dormitory. She ain't do nothing but oodles and noodles and some chicken noodle soup. So it works like this one day. She come up to the dorm, come to the apartment. She say, hey girl, did Craig eat yet? She say, nah, I don't know. She said, well listen, I made some deviled eggs, some greens with the turkey juice, some sweet potato pie, some lamb chops. Girl, I don't know why I made all this food, but hey, give Craig some food. So you give Craig some of Shaquita's Cajun shrimp with the Negro duck sauce. So guess what? He eating that shit, he like. So she come back again. She said, girl, I done did my lollipop turkey chops with some of my little dirty corn. Once again. And you're not even realizing it's the Craig falling in love with Shaquita food because you don't cook. And then one day Craig come home early. You had to do overtime. Shaquita at the door. She said, hey Craig, are you hungry? He said, yeah, I've been working hard on the contract. Yeah, sure, what you got, man? Come on in, I cooked a little something, something. So he come in there, she got the seafood side. She got the Philly cheesesteak lasagna. She got her Negro General toe in it. And so then Craig eats, you running home, you can feel something, because you know how you can feel it. A woman know, like, I smell cookies. So you trying to get home, but it's too late, because she opened up the stove. And guess what she pulled out? Her pineapple upside down cake. And she gave Craig a slice of that pineapple upside down cake. And by the time you got home, Craig had Shaquita upside down in the upside down cake. Go ask your grandmama. Your grandmama will tell you Dr. Umar is right. Let a woman cook for your man too much, she will have him. We fall in love with the food. Listen, every brother in here, even the young soldiers, we all dated a woman we would have never normally dated until we tasted her cuisine. When his homie first showed up, like, come on, fam, you better ain't my type. And then she cooked. And did some voodoo with the lamb chops. She had some jollof rice. Homemade strawberry lemonade with a drop of kiwi lime in that shit. And by the time he had that sweet potato pie, he was like, oh shit. Shit do look like Beyonce. You better be careful. And brothers, stop being so sexually thirsty in these streets. I heard about y'all Howard brothers. I heard y'all Howard brothers ain't got no sexual discipline at all. They said Howard is burning down. You better be careful, brothers. That gonorrhea, that chlamydia, genital warts, crabs, lice, scabies, AIDS, hepatitis, syphilis. Let me tell you how it happens, young soldier. Because you think you that dude, right? You swagoo. You swagoo. You done been over 3 queens on the same weekend. You swagoo. And then you go to the infirmary. And your pee-pee dripping and stinking. You itching. And you done shaved, you got some of that nair and took all the hair off and they still itching. And then you look at your little wee-wee and you got little bumps on your wee-wee. And you go to the nurse at the Howard University Infirmary. You saw Felicia Rashad. You said, oh shit, that's Felicia. And the nurse tell you, brother, this ain't no zits, this ain't no pimples, you got herpes. And the thing about genital herpes, you can't get rid of it. You're gonna have them the rest of your life like bad credit. And you know what's bad about the genital herpes? If you give your girlfriend herpes while y'all being intimate and she get pregnant, the baby can contract the herpes. And now your firstborn beautiful daughter, your firstborn beautiful son is coming out the womb with only 1 eye. Only 2 fingers out of 5. It ain't funny. Only 3 toes. It ain't funny, y'all. We have baby. Y'all better stop laughing. Ancestors going to, okay. I'm going to throw some voodoo on your ass. Keep laughing. So listen. I'm serious. We got black children with birth defects. Because their parents was getting their freak on and they wasn't being responsible. Black women, you internal. Black men, we external. We see it first. Y'all don't see because you on the inside. So you can be having a whole herpes cookout and not even know it. Stop popping Gucci, it ain't working. Save yourself. Hey you, stop laughing. Save yourself. Ladies, keep your cookies to yourself. So when you're 28, you got that law degree, you in med school, you got real estate, you that teacher, you that engineer, that psychic. You want them cookies nice and fresh. Because see what a lot of y'all sisters do, and my brothers know what I'm talking about, y'all show up, right? And the cookies be stale and used up. And y'all be like, I ain't been with nobody in 5 years. And he like, but ain't no cookies left. So ladies, I need you to reverence your womb. Because your womb is an extension of your higher self. And this is why women who sleep around with multiple men, and I know a lot of y'all on this whole new feminist thing, I can do what he do. You're not made that way. A black woman's womb is a portal of divine energy. The Creator sent babies through there. That's nobody's playground. Reverence your vagina. Reverence it. Because you will lose it. Now, brothers and sisters, we got to get organized. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said the greatest weapon used against the Negro is this organization, Howard University. I need y'all to start organizing. Y'all need to build a black bank on Howard's campus by black students. And then bringing the Coppin State students, bringing the Morgan State students, bringing the UDC students, the Dell State students. Bring them all in. What if y'all started a black bank for black students? And what's the power of a black bank? Everybody in here has a business idea. But guess what? Wells Fargo not going to give you the money. Chase Manhattan not going to give you the money. Bank of America not going to give you the money. This is why we see Arabs come into our cities and do better than us, and we've been here 40 years. We see East Indians coming to our, no disrespect to them. No disrespect to them. You see the migrants, Latinos, how they got businesses black folks ain't got. It ain't because we lazy. It ain't because we smart. It's because they show up with a line of credit from their home banks. And if they don't get a line of credit from their home bank, they get a line of credit from America's banks. If we want to catch up with everybody else, we got to have access to wealth. Nobody's going to give that to us because everybody knows that the black dollar can build black power. So we got to build our own banks. Listen, DMV, y'all spend $3 million on Christmas gifts. Christmas is coming up week after next. White Jesus shopping. Listen. Listen. Listen! What if y'all sacrifice your white Jesus money for one Christmas? Take that $3 million, no red bottoms, no weave, no Jordans, no weed either, and take that $3 million and say we starting a credit union for HBCU students in the DMV. When we gonna wake up and get serious, brothers and sisters? When we gonna wake up and get serious, brothers and sisters? We can win, but we got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice your convenience. There's nothing convenient about an economic revolution. Sacrifice your time. Get off them video games. Get off of social media and start sitting with each other and talk about how can we make black America a better place tomorrow than it is today, brothers and sisters. You got your whole life in front of you. Every last one of you need to be deciding what are you going to do with your life that's going to make black America better. Yes. Don't just get rich for the sake of being rich, but what you going to do with it? Look at my sister Oprah, and I love Oprah. Richest woman in the history of North America, Oprah Winfrey. And she's a beautiful elder. But I'm concerned about Oprah because if she leaves this earth, and we hope she ain't leaving no time soon, but when Oprah goes back to the ancestors, you mean to tell me you left a couple $1 billion and you didn't build a single institution for your own people? Because nobody's leaving here with the money you got. You can't leave with your Benz, you can't leave with your weed, you can't leave with your sneaker collection. When you leave, they're going to put you in that pound box, butt-ass naked, with nothing you need. So you might as well do something with what you got. Brothers and sisters, let me give you my phone number. If you're a psychology major, and you need some advice on psychology, if you're an education major, need some advice on education, if you're a political science major. Those are my 3 social science expertise areas. Feel free to reach out. My black parents, raise your hand if you have a child. Raise your hand if you have a child. Okay, number 1, no evaluations for black children under the age of 6. I don't want to see no damn reading disability evaluation for a 5-year-old. How the hell he got a reading disability and he just started learning how to read? I don't want to see no autism evaluation for no 3-year-old black child. You cannot prove autism at 3 years old. I know because I evaluate for autism. Math disabilities in the 1st grade, cut it out. Cut it out. Your child don't have a learning disability. Your child has a lazy ass disability. Can we keep it a buck? Your son can learn how to read. He don't feel like it. And neither do you. Which is why if Dr. Umar was in charge, we wouldn't diagnose the children, we diagnose their damn parents. Children don't drop out of school until we drop out of their lives. And I'm so tired of reading in the newspapers in D.C. and reading in the newspapers in Maryland and reading in the newspapers in Virginia. Black boys can't learn. Black boys don't know how to act. But nobody's going to talk about the white women teaching them. The number 1 problem in the education of black children is that the snow bunny is the conduit of academic failure. Nobody blames the snow bunny. If you want to improve education for black boys in the DMV, give every black boy a black male teacher. Why we can't do that? You know why? Because the teacher unions of America were created to protect the jobs of white women. They don't give a damn about black boys having black men. They don't care. They just want to make sure they white women get their full paid vacation and full paid retirement and get all their public holiday vacation days. They don't give a damn about our children, and neither do we, because if we cared, we would be turning them schools inside out until they give us the black men that our sons need. And then they got this whole ADHD thing. The biggest scam ran in public school in America. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. No, it's not. It's ain't no daddy at home disorder, ADHD. Undisciplined boys going to school craving the attention of their father. And then they want to give your son Ritalin. They want to give your son Adderall. They want to give your son Metadate. They want to give your son Cycler. Why would you give your child crack cocaine? These drugs are nothing but narcotics. You giving your son crack so they can sit still long enough to learn about Joe Biden. Are you out of your damn mind? Are you out of your damn mind? I don't need drugs to learn about old Joe. And I ain't heard Donald Trump or Kamala Harris say a word about giving black boys more black male teachers. And what about the mass incarceration rate? All these black men in jail, most of them didn't even hurt nobody. They just sold a little weed, sold some dope. I don't agree with it, but I do know this. Poverty is the grandmother of all crime. Miseducation is the father of all crime. Economic castration is the mother of all crime. If you don't educate the children, and if you don't give them a decent livable wage job, they will break the law. Didn't the Italians do that back at the turn of the 20th century? Didn't European Jews do that at the turn of the 20th century? Didn't the Irish do that at the turn of the 20th century? So how did America get the European Jewish immigrants to stop breaking the law? How did they get the Irish to stop breaking the law? How did they get the Italians to stop breaking the law? I'll tell you how. They gave the Irish the police departments in the black community. They gave the Italians the fire departments in the black community. And they gave the European Jews the governmental civil service jobs that they still control to this day. In other words, America gave the white folks an economic stimulus package. Where is your economic stimulus package, black man and black woman? This is why you gotta know your history. We didn't create the ghetto. The government created the ghetto. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt created the ghetto when he financed low interest loans for poor ass white people. He gave poor white folks, broke down, trailer trash whites, he gave them money. And then the white folks running around talking some, I worked hard for everything I did. My parents got here from Greece and they pulled themselves up. Use a damn lie. Every white person in America, everyone got some kind of a welfare handout from the United States government, y'all. And they got us thinking we just lazy. No, the government gave y'all money and helped y'all create the suburbs to get away from blacks. They gave y'all the GI Bill. White privilege is the biggest welfare program in American history. And I hope to God y'all not gonna graduate from Howard and Coppin and Bowie and Morgan and get you a nice job, start your own business and go move into a white suburb. I hope you ain't gonna do that. Create a black community. Maybe all y'all graduate. What if all of the Howard University class of 2025 got together and said, we're gonna buy some land in Maryland or Virginia and start a new black independent community. We're gonna build our homes from the ground. That's how we should be thinking, y'all. That's how we should be thinking. Some of y'all just can't wait to get a new car, can't wait to get new hair. That's not what life is about. In heaven, you had a purpose for coming to earth. What is your purpose for coming to earth? My purpose for coming to earth is to help children and to emancipate African people. That's why I was born. You got to find out why you was born. Everybody in this room got a special purpose for being in this world, and it ain't got nothing to do with looking good and making money. I work with suicidal blacks. Look, and I'm going to shut up after this. I said that 10 minutes ago, but I'm going to really shut up this time. I work with suicidal black people, right? What do all black people who want to kill themselves have in common? And if any of you are suicidal, you need to talk to somebody, and you ain't got nobody to talk to, first of all, go to the nearest emergency room. I have to tell you that professionally. If you ever think you're going to engage in self-harm, or if you know somebody who's going to engage in self-harm, take them to the nearest emergency room. Every hospital in America has a psychologist or psychiatrist on call 24 hours a day to do suicide assessments to determine if you're safe enough to go back home or whether they got to commit you into the hospital. Don't ever gamble on somebody else's life. Don't ever say, I think my son is playing. I think my girlfriend is playing. I think my frat brother is playing. It's not your place to decide that. If they say something suicidal, take their ass to the hospital and find out for real. But all suicidal black folks got 3 things in common. Number 1, disconnection from God's source. Big reason why a lot of you go through depression. Big reason why a lot of you go through anxiety. Big reason why a lot of y'all drink all on the weekend, smoke weed all during the weekend. You're distracting yourself from a spiritual problem that you don't want to face. Disconnection from God. Black people cannot get depressed. We cannot get anxious. We cannot develop addictions unless we are disconnected from God's source. When is the last time you got on your hands and knees and prayed? By yourself alone. And I don't care if you pray the Muslim way or the Christian way. I don't care if you pray the Buddhist way or the African traditional way. But as an African, you must have connection to God because we are God's original people. And you cannot function without a connection to God. That's 1. 2, suicidal black people are some of the selfish Negroes you'll ever meet in your life. Did you hear what I said? Part of the reason you're suicidal is you don't think about nobody but yourself. Part of the reason you're suicidal, you don't do anything for nobody but yourself. Part of the reason you're suicidal is you are your first priority and your last priority. You don't care about anybody else. Solution for suicide? Get outside and help somebody other than yourself for a change. 3rd reason we're so suicidal is because we let our mind take over our spirit. Your spirit is supposed to run your mind. Your mind is not supposed to run your spirit. God gave you a mind so you can navigate life on earth. Your mind is to solve earthly problems, not spiritual problems. This is why the more you keep thinking about your problems, the worse they get, because the mind is not sufficient to heal spiritual illness. Only soul can do that. But if you have no connection to soul, you have no solutions for your mental illness. And I'm going to say this and shut up. Listen, because everybody in here want to get married one day, male and female. When you're dating, stop asking people how much money they make. Stop asking them how many children they got. Stop asking them what their credit score is. You know what the 3 most important questions you can ask somebody in the dating game? Number 1, do you like yourself? Number 2, are you at peace living with yourself? Number 3, what is your purpose in this life? That will tell you a whole lot more than a credit score or a diploma. Listen, if you don't like you, why the hell would I like you? You know why men and women are so promiscuous? We're not promiscuous because we're sexually uncontrolled all the time. A big reason why you sleep around is you always need somebody in the bed, not for sex, but to distract you from your problems you don't want to face. Dating is a disease. Dating is an addiction. Unhealthy black people love new relationships because it's another opportunity to blame another person for your own self-created misery. Let me give you my number, 215, in case you need it. My parents, if you ever have issues with your children, I didn't get my books here tonight. I apologize for that. I couldn't get the books here, but if you ever have any issues with your children, you call Dr. Umar first. Don't you get them tested for nothing unless it's speech without talking to me. And although autism is real, autism is often misdiagnosed in black boys. That's why you don't want your children getting tested before the age of 6 or 7. And also, I need you all to know that special education is a business. They make billions of dollars off of putting black boys in special ed in Virginia, special ed in Maryland, special ed in DC. Did you know every time I evaluate a black child and put them in special ed, their name goes into a computer, and by the end of the month, that particular public or charter school gets a welfare check from the State Department of Education for your child. Did you know that a special ed kid is worth twice as much as a regular kid? Oh yeah. So if your son is in the 2nd grade, let's say he go to We Hate Black People public school in DC, right? He's a 2nd grader at We Hate Black Children charter school in DC. You get him tested for special ed. All the other kids get about $9,000 a year on their education, right? But once Dr. Umar say Raekwon needs special ed, Raekwon ain't worth $9,000. Raekwon is worth $18,000. Now let me ask you this. If We Hate Black People charter school, public school, is getting an extra $9,000 for Raekwon, he got 10 more years of school. 9,000 times 10 is how much extra money? $90,000 for one boy. What about 100 Raekwons? How many black boys are in special ed in DC? How many black boys are in special ed in Norfolk or Alexandria or here in Arlington? Multiply that by the special ed subsidy. What are you saying, Dr. Umar? I'm saying white people are getting rich, living in the suburbs, driving nice cars off the backs of black boys whose parents allow them to worship basketball and rap and not academics. When the last time you checked the homework? When the last time you did a drive-by? Because if you're a black parent and you ain't doing classroom drive-bys, you're not on your damn job. When the last time you had a quiet hour in your house? When is the last time you took your child to the library? When is the last time you made them read to you? And you wonder why half the black boys in America in 4th grade can't read on their grade level. You wonder why half the black boys in 8th grade in America can't count on their grade level. That's because mommy has turned Instagram into her baby daddy. And I'm not putting this on the moms, because black men, we are disgraced because we see all these single black women raising these boys by themselves, and we don't do a damn thing to help them. So I don't blame black women for the black boy crisis. I blame all the lazy-ass black men in the community who ain't stepping up. In African culture, men are responsible for boys, not women. And if we want respect from our women brothers, all we have to do is one thing. Take control of the damn boys. Not your sons that you helped create, but all of them. Every black boy in the DMV should have a black man responsible for their life and their success. And until black men take charge of turning boys into men, our women are going to have a difficult time treating us as men. And stop saying you want your woman to treat you like a king. Every king got to have a damn kingdom. You got to have a reality for that woman to grab onto. Okay? Well, if she don't let us lead, how are we going to lead? If you do what you're supposed to do, black women will give you the power back. The reason why black women are so reluctant to give us the power back, fellas, is because the last time a man told him that, she got to the point where she gave him the power back and he walked out on her. Black women have been through that 3, 4, 5 times. They've been through that with your father. So how you going to tell a black woman, give me a chance to lead you, and then she give you a chance to lead her, and you run away because you can handle the responsibility? Black women have to earn. You have to earn that trust, fellas. You don't just show up and say, let me lead. You got to earn that trust, because a lot of us really don't want it. And don't waste time with women you don't want to marry, brothers. If you ain't serious about the sister, leave it alone. I don't care if she show up in your dorm room butt-ass naked. You send her back to her dorm room because she don't need sex. She's looking for love from her father. Promiscuous women, even in college, promiscuous women are little girls still looking for father's validation. And when the daddy ain't there, any penis will do. She wants not sex from her father, she wants psychological love from her father. But when a woman doesn't get her femininity validated by her father, sex becomes the alternative. She thinks that if I have enough sex, I'll feel whole. If I have enough sex, I'll feel complete. If I have enough sex, I won't miss my father anymore. No, sisters, I don't care how much sex you get, you still want to miss your dad. Because psychological problems cannot be solved with Band-Aids. If you need your dad, go find your dad. And everybody in here better learn how to forgive your parents for the mistakes they made in your life. Because if you don't forgive your parents for the things they did to you, you're going to make mistakes raising your own children. And guess what? They ain't going to forgive you either. Forgiveness don't mean forget. Forgiveness means I'm not going to let your negative energy dictate my spiritual health. I'm not forgetting nothing. I'm just not going to let you control me with what you did to me. Black people, we got to learn how to forgive. What's so funny back there? We got some coons in it? What's up? Fuck's funny. Too much weed. And by the way, my marijuana heads, they lace in the weed. Listen. They put rat poison. I'm telling you what I know. We got opioid epidemics. We got marijuana epidemics. And let me tell you a little secret, my marijuana addicts. The marijuana you smoking, it's not real marijuana. China is the leading producer of synthetic weed. And China has come up with its own category of cannabinoids. They spray the synthetic weed with these artificial marijuana cannabinoids that intensifies the smell and intensifies the high. But do you know what the problem is? The side effects can be worse than opioids. We got children smoking one stick of weed and they going into a paranoid schizophrenic fit from which they never return. Y'all better be careful. If you gotta smoke weed, you better know who's growing it and you better make sure it's being grown. Because one of the ways they terrorizing and destroying us psychologically is by giving us that China-induced artificial marijuana. I don't smoke, I don't drink. My only sin is 5'5". Let me close. For my education majors, if you're looking for a job, send us a resume. The Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy will soon be done. We just got to do some floors. Yes, 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 oh yes. Yes, but listen, even though it's a boys' school, the teachers and staff will be co-ed. So ladies, you can send a resume, FDMG resumes. You got my cell, text me for the email address. We need to cover. I didn't give you cell? That was an ADHD moment. But my ADHD is something different. My ADHD is an ancestral diversion for higher development. I'm a spiritual brother. Phone number 215-989-9858. You should already have my number. It's been the same for 19 years. Where you been, Coons? 215-989-9858. One more for my parents. 215-989-9858. Make sure you text me for the donation information. I don't care if you give me $5. Is what automated? I do not have a payphone number. What's automated?
We all get the same text back.
That's my personal cell. That's mine. I've been giving up my phone number for 19 years. If you want to know why? I don't want a second voicemail box. That's 30 more voicemails I gotta check. One box. When they filled up, you have to text me. First of all, I don't answer the phone, so you gotta text me anyway. I do not like to talk on the phone because I speak for a living. What am I talk for? Text. Text. You gotta talk. Dr. Umar, you got 5 minutes? Hell no, I don't got 5 minutes. Nigga, text. But seriously, text fdmgresumes@gmail.com. We need teachers. We need people who know how to grow food. We need aquaponics. We need people who know how to make clothing. We need people who know how to build websites. People who do videography, African martial arts, gun training, everything. Let me close with a quote from my ancestor, Frederick Douglass. If you haven't been to the Frederick Douglass home in Anacostia, you need to go to the Frederick Douglass National Park Service home. That's where he lived when he died. My family came to America in 1701. A black man stolen from Nigeria. He was brought to Talbot County, Eastern Shore, Maryland. My family's from Maryland. That was my grandfather Bailey. He married my grandmom Selah, who my 13-year-old daughter is named. 1745, they had my grandmom Jenny. In 1774, but 2 years before Thomas Jefferson declared independence from Britain, my grandmama, young Betsy, was born. Grandma Betsy was born a slave, but she married a free black man, my grandpa Isaac. Those are my 6 times great-grandparents. Those are the grandparents who raised Frederick Douglass. We're related by blood. In 1818 and 1819, my grandmother, young Betsy, and her sister Harriet were raped by the slave master. And so in February of 1818, Aunt Harriet gave birth to the greatest black leader in American history. His name was Frederick Augustus Washington Bailey. At the age of 20, Cousin Fred ran away from Baltimore, through Delaware, up into Philly, on to New York, and he changed his name to hide his identity on the Underground Railroad. So in 1838, Frederick Bailey became Frederick Douglass. In 1819, my grandfather, Stephen Henry Bailey, was born. Frederick and Stephen were cousins because their mothers were sisters, but they were also brothers because the slave master raped those sisters. My grandpa Stephen married my grandma Caroline. November 14th, 1841, they had my 3 times great-grandfather George Washington Bailey. He becomes the first black public school teacher in Denton, Maryland. He marries my grandma Annie. Grandma Annie is the niece of Bishop Alexander Wayman, the 7th bishop after Richard Allen in the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And then the Civil War starts, 1861. Abraham Lincoln authorizes black troops in 1863. Frederick Douglass doesn't fight in the Civil War, but he sends his 2 sons, my cousins Lewis and Charles. They go to Boston, Massachusetts, and they enroll in the 54th Massachusetts Colored Regiment, from where we get the movie Glory. Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman. That movie, that's about my cousins Lewis and Charles. My grandfather Stephen and his son, my grandfather George. They fight in the U.S. Colored Troops of Maryland, 19th Regiment and 9th Regiment. They were at the Appomattox Courthouse when General Robert E. Lee surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant. My grandfathers were there. They were also in all likelihood in Galveston, Texas on June 19th when General Gordon Granger read Special Order Number 3, emancipating all Texas Africans held in bondage. My grandfathers were there. Why am I saying that? Because Abraham Lincoln did not free the slaves. The slaves freed Abraham Lincoln. Brothers and sisters, when the Civil War was over, Grandpa George and Grandma Maddie had Grandma Caroline. She moved to Philadelphia. She had Grandma Vivian. Grandma Vivian married a Spanish-speaking Cuban immigrant, my great-grandfather Cicero from Havana, Cuba, who I met on his deathbed as a child. They had my grandmother Ida. She met James Johnson. They got married. They had my father Jamal Johnson, and he met Barbara in North Philadelphia. And on August the 21st, the anniversary of the Nat Turner War, August the 21st, the anniversary of the Haitian Revolution, August the 21st, the anniversary of the day Emmett Till showed up in Money, Mississippi. August the 21st, the day Fannie Lou Hamer showed up at the Democratic National Convention in Atlantic City. August the 21st, the day Soul Dad brother George Jackson led the prison revolt in California. I was born in North Philly. Frederick Douglass said, "If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. Find out what any people will quietly submit to, and you have just found out the exact measure of injustice that will be used against them. And these will continue until they are resisted with blood or with blows or with both." Frederick Douglass said, "A man may not get all he pays for, but you will pay for all that you get." Frederick said, "For 20 years, I prayed on my knees to God for freedom. But the good Lord gave me no freedom until I got up off my knees and started praying with my feet." He said, "If you want respect from white people, why do you look for pity? The man who pities you would never respect you, and the man who respects you has no need for pity. The most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who gave one of the greatest keynote addresses in Howard University's history, as did Frederick Douglass. Marcus Garvey said, "Without confidence in yourself, you are twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won, even before you have started." Marcus Garvey said, "If the black man and woman are not careful, you will drink in all the poison of Western civilization and you will die from the effects of it." Garvey was once asked, "Are you African or are you Jamaican?" And in response to that question, the leader of the largest black organization in modern history, the man who gave us the red, black, and green flag, the only black man to lead a movement on 7 continents simultaneously, Marcus Garvey brought the British Empire to its knees, the French Empire to its knees, the Portuguese Empire to its knees, the German Empire to its knees, the American Empire to its knees. No other leader has ever done that since. Garvey said, "You ask me, am I African or am I Jamaican?" And I tell him, I would never ever give up a continent for an island. I am an African, yesterday, today, and for all times. Howard University, thank you, family. One love. We're going to do the interview. And once we're done with the interview, anybody want to take a photo with Dr. Umar, we can take a photo when we're completely done tonight. Just make sure you text me the photo so I can run it by my team and see if I have any coons or agents in here tonight. Send me the photo. Black power. We want black power, brothers and sisters. Should I be in the middle with one of you on each side? What you think? Both of them stay that side. Okay, no problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Dr. Umar.
We want black power. If it ain't nappy, I ain't happy. If I can't grab it, you can't have it.
Check.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Dr. Umar, we live. Put your hands together for Diaspora Comedy. They made this happen tonight. Give them a hand. Yes, indeed. Check out the upcoming events from Diaspora Comedy.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Yeah! We're going to do it like this, old school, right?
Yes, sir.
First of all, thank you so much for being here, Dr. Umar.
Yes, sir.
It really was a pleasure hearing you speak. There you go. Okay, y'all can hear me now? Beautiful. Listen, we're not going to take up too much time, but we have some questions I want to ask Dr. Umar. Jasmine also has some questions she wants to ask Dr. Umar.
And we're going to give y'all a chance
then we're
to
going to
ask
open it up to y'all, right? Dr. Umar, my first question to you actually is, given your persona and the social media and how people perceive you, right? What's one thing that people don't know about Dr. Umar?
What's one thing that people don't know about Dr. Umar?
About the man.
Yes, sir. It would be how serious I am about my mission. Behind the jokes and behind the laughter, which is necessary. I inject that on purpose because my message is so serious. If I didn't soften it up, some black people wouldn't be able to tolerate it. So the comedy is actually intentional to soften the message, but I'm very serious about what I do, extremely serious about what I do. I dismiss a lot of people who I bring into my inner circle because they think that my life is all about lectures and picture taking. They have no idea of what we do behind the scenes. So I'm very serious about what I do. So don't send me no resume if you ain't serious about the work. Black power.
Amen to that. I'll just say this to that question. We know you are serious, Dr. Umar. We know that about you for sure. Go ahead, Jack.
And I'm serious about the bunny crisis.
Actually, when you was talking about there's nothing more beautiful than a black woman, I was with you. I was
Nothing
like,
more
damn.
beautiful than a black woman.
Yeah, but then you said there's nothing more beautiful than a black woman with natural hair. I was like, oh shit, I'm in kind of straight. Oh fuck.
That's all right. You can come on back. That we're gonna baptize you back into the race. We're gonna exorcise the Caucasian demon in your spirit and bring you back home. Oh
Okay,
yes.
I'm down.
Praise the black God of Africa. Lord have mercy. If it ain't black, get back. Yes.
I'm like, no, actually, Actually, something that you were talking about earlier that really resonated with me is that it's just black men dating outside of their race. Black men are more likely to date outside of their race than any other demographic of men, and black women are most likely to remain unmarried, and we're also the first divorced. Why do you think it is so common for black men to date outside of their race, kind of leaving us behind?
The first part of that answer is going to shock a lot of women in this room. But one of the biggest reasons black men date outside the race is black women do not raise their sons to be loyal to other black women. When I talk to black men, they tell me, even boys in middle and high school, that it is their mothers who teach them not to respect black girls. Black women have to do a better job of holding up other black women. That's one. Number two, we have a dysfunctional, parasitic, Eurocentric hip-hop movement that has completely hypnotized black men into turning our black sisters into sexual gratification objects. And we have to do something about that. Gangsta rap has done more to kill the positive image of black on black love than almost any other form of media. We have to take hip-hop back. And if we're not going to take hip-hop back, then throw it away into the ash can of history.
That's deep. Let me say, there was a question that I got a lot from the people in the crowd, right? And that was about the academy that you're building, right? A lot of people wanted to know about that. One, can you give us some updates on that? And the second thing, which is my personal question about it, what would be the first lesson that would be taught at the school?
Okay, the update is once we do the floors, we'll be applying for our certificate of occupancy. With that being said, if anybody in here knows anyone, including yourself, who knows how to lay tile or lay carpet, we can pay you. We need somebody who can lay tile, lay carpet. So if you got an Uncle Mike, Cousin Ray, need a couple of dollars, and they know what the hell they doing, you have my cell number. I'm dead serious. We need to, once we've done the floors, we can apply for our certificate of occupancy. That's how close we are. I'm hoping that we'll have it by the end of the year or early next year and possibly do our grand opening in Black History Month or sometime during the spring. But you must donate to the school in order to attend any events. We will be hosting a conscious singles convention. So if you are conscious and you're having trouble finding a mate, Dr. Umar is creating an event only for conscious people though. If you ever bunny hopped, you're no longer conscious. So you can't come. I just want to make, and ladies, you gotta be natural, or you can't come.
We both can't go.
Okay. You got a perm, my nigga?
I'll be a buddy.
You got a white girlfriend.
No, I'll be a buddy.
Asian? You got an Asian girlfriend?
No, she's mixed.
Mixed up, or you mixed up? Oh, was. She's not with you no more. Oh, you liberated. Get that brother black hand. He probably fired his ass off, but give him a hand. First lesson at the school. The curriculum of Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey will be, in addition to math, science, language, and social studies, political and military science, economic and financial science, dietary and nutritional science, agricultural, agronomical science, science of the black man, woman, and child, and African spiritual science. Your child does not have to practice traditional African spirituality, but they must learn about it. Because we are an African-centered school, and I am a practitioner of traditional African spirituality, and we will teach it to your children. They do not have to practice. We believe in God just like y'all, but we also communicate with our ancestors, and that's the foundation of the school. And we will have programs for adults as well, and once we operate at the boys' school for 3 years, there will be a Princess Academy. The Amy Garvey and Anna Douglas. Some of y'all keep talking about the white woman Frederick Douglass married when he was an old man. Stop skipping over the blue, black, purple, chocolate, gorgeous woman who helped them escape from slavery to freedom, who gave him all 5 of his babies, Queen Mother Anna Marie Douglas. That's what the school is going to be named after. And then we want to franchise the school. I want to take the school national and international. The rest of my life is going to be spent building schools for our children, in healing our people from their spiritual illnesses. I have to start doing more retreats for black people. I want to have a retreat for black women who've been sexually abused. I want to have a retreat for black men who've been sexually abused. I want to have a Bunny Hopper's recovery conference. No, seriously, seriously. Black men who date white girls got something wrong with them, and we're going to help them heal at the Bunny Hopper's recovery conference. We're going to have a conference for every problem under the sun. Depression, suicide, chemical addiction. If you was a foster child, you never knew your biological mother or father, I want to have a spiritual retreat just to help you process what that means to have never known your biological parents. Listen, y'all, we can't win the war against racism when we haven't won the war against ourselves. Black power.
My next question is kind of serious, but I think it's something that commonly is experienced in the black community, and it's that sometimes defending a black man can come at the expense of supporting a black woman. I think that we see this a lot in instances of domestic violence that happen between black men and women. Even we see this with Diddy. And you've kind of been outspoken in your support for Diddy.
No, not support for Diddy. I want to clarify.
Okay.
Support for due process and justice for African people.
Okay.
That is not supporting Diddy. As I said, if he's guilty of the crime, he should do the time.
We saw the video though. He kicked her in the face on video.
You saw a video of him abusing Cassie. He's not charged with abusing Cassie. He's charged with interstate sex trafficking and interstate prostitution and interstate racketeering. Cassie got $30 million and took it to her white husband. Cassie is okay. We're talking about, he's not charged with Cassie. That's not the charge.
Okay.
That don't make what he did right. I want to be clear. He had no right to put his hands or feet on that woman. Yes. Only point that I'm making is, black women suffer more domestic abuse than any other woman in the world. If we are that committed to eliminating domestic violence, when is the last time one of y'all did something about the men you know who regularly put their hands on their women? Right. What did you do when your father smacked your mother? Right. What did you do when your grandmother got smacked by your grandpa? Right. What did you do when you find out your brother beat his baby mama? You didn't do shit. But you want Puffy to be lynched, but you don't want to lynch the women, men in your life. All I'm saying is we can't be hypocrites. I am completely for the eradication of violence against women. Okay. But I don't believe in selective morality. I don't believe in giving him a pass, but holding him accountable. Right. If we're going to do it, you hold everything accountable. Just like with R. Kelly. If R. Kelly molested them children, he should be held accountable. But what about the thousands of Roman Catholic priests who have raped black kids all over this country and the black community ain't said a damn word? What about Vince McMahon? What about Harvey Weinstein? What about Garth Brooks? What about the fact Donald Trump was found guilty of rape in court last year and half the Negroes in America still plan to vote for him? When are we going to practice complete justice and not selective morality?
Okay, I can agree. I was ready to go.
You feel me, quick?
All right, y'all, we're going to open it up to y'all. We're going to take 5 questions because we do have to get out of here.
Do 6 and make sure it's 3 men and 3 women. Keep it balanced.
Understood. We can definitely do that. I saw your hand up. Go first. What's your question for Mr. Umar? No, just project.
I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
So I'm a political commentator and I work in public policy within public health. And something that I've seen is like the conversation around reproductive health. And I think right now, my question to you is like right now, a lot of times the conversation with like abortion and funding abortions, but it's almost as if, like, okay, how do I word this? So how do you feel about the conversation around abortion? Because like when we do research and when we do data, they don't talk about the lack of funding towards like PCOS or fibroids, or some of these things are disproportionately affecting black women. So what is your stance on that?
Number one, I don't think we do a good enough job advocating for issues that affect black women in particular. I also think—
Sorry, Dr. Umar, just to repeat the question for the people in the back, right?
Yes,
She's talking about reproductive rights, and you said you work in that field, and you're asking Dr. Umar— Work in public health, yeah, and you're asking Dr. Umar because it disproportionately affects women of color. What is his stance on it? Is that correct? Black women, okay, yeah, black women.
I'm pretty much trying to figure out like your opinion on how the conversation with like abortion has taken a toll whenever it comes to like maternal health or reproductive health in general.
Yes.
So, like conversation with like PCOS and fibroids, these obstacles that are disproportionately affecting black women to give birth are being overshadowed or lack of funding in that area.
Right. A couple things. One, as I was saying earlier, I think black women have to do a better job of advocating for issues that affect black women's health in particular. I think this is also where we're being misserved by calling ourselves women of color. When you say women of color, it's not about you no more. It's about the brown immigrants, the red immigrants. It's about the LGBT. You follow me? Black women have to advocate for black women alone. It's tough for y'all to do that because religion has brainwashed us into feeling bad about prioritizing ourselves. Now, on the abortion issue, I am a pro-lifer at heart, but I don't judge women based on the decisions that they make, right? But I do recognize that we have taken out 3 million of our babies since the 1970s. We would be a much more populous race if we did something about the abortion. But that's not a moral judgment. I'm just speaking about the political situation. But I do think that we as black people need to get serious about building our own clinics and building our own hospitals. One thing that really disappoints me, we once owned and operated more than 500 hospitals in American history. Black people, our own hospitals. We talk about banks and schools. No, we owned 500 black hospitals in 400 years. That's more than a hospital a year. You hardly have any now. So when we talk about poor health care for black women, we have to put it in context of a medical system that is completely dominated by Caucasians. When are black doctors and black billionaires going to come together and give us our own comprehensive medical system? Listen, y'all, America is preparing to bury us if we don't make a way for ourselves. The reason the immigrants are here is to completely smother the black agenda. I don't care if Kamala wins or Donald wins. When they are out of office, you will never again hear any conversation about what matters to black people. The immigrants are here to suffocate our agenda. And I don't care if it's the Arabs, the East Indians, the Latinos, the Chinese, all of them will side with the white man against us as they have in the past. Mexicans were once considered white in America. Japanese sued in court to be considered white in America. East Indians were once considered white in America, Kamala's people. Arabs are still considered white in America. Isn't that interesting? There's a war on terror, so-called. America supports Israel's war against Iran and the Palestinian people, but guess what? For purposes of the US Census, Arabs are white people. So all these people you keep trying to blend in with, calling yourself people of color, they've all been considered white at one time or another and would gladly be considered white today. We have no friends. Stop calling yourself people of color. Be black and proud.
I just want to see in the back here so we give people a chance in the back. I do see a hand over there, my brother. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to know what your thoughts were about the host. He distinguished himself between being black and being immigrant. So just wanted to see what your thoughts were about that.
About my brother.
Hold on. I'll answer that myself, brother. Black. No.
No, is he speaking of you or the other brother? Who's he speaking of?
I'm not sure.
Who are you speaking of though, my brother? This brother or the other brother?
Yeah. So wait, hold on. So
let's be respectful. Give him a chance. Give him a chance, King.
So you're just saying that you're saying that I made a distinction between being black and being an immigrant? Yeah. Okay. So
let it. Come on, we gotta be respectful.
hey, champ. I got you, champ. No problem, brother. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. My skin is black. 10 times out of 10. Every day of the week. You understand what I'm saying? So it is true that American people that are black in America and immigrants that come to this country have a different experience, right? But to make that differentiation, because you heard me talk about being an immigrant, which is part of what I am, does not differentiate me from being a black person on this planet, or an African, for that matter. Does that make sense? So personally, I think it's an internalized thing that you differentiated the two. Because at no point in time did I come up here on stage and say, I'm not black.
No, you didn't, but you said black people and
you
distinguished yourself from black people.
I said black people, you said?
No, you said black. You said whatever joke you were saying.
Yeah. No, and it's true. I said black people, but by that I meant me, myself, and I as well. Does that make sense? Say again?
You distinguish yourself.
No, brother, I think that's an internalized thing that you have in your head.
Maybe the three of us can have that conversation alone.
Yeah. And by the way, sorry, just to say this, let me say this before we go. I'm happy to talk to you after the show. I'm happy to, right? I'm happy to explain to you. And if you feel like I need to explain my blackness to you, I have no problem with that. I got no problem with that.
All right.
We're gonna move on.
Pan-Africanism. Let me say this before we go to the next question, because I'm a Pan-Africanist. As Pan-Africanists, we believe all African people are one family. And we identify as being African before we identify with anything else. You are African before you are Christian. You are African before you are Muslim. You are African before you are American. You are African before you are Ethiopian. African is what makes us family. I don't care about the religion. I don't care about the skin tone. I don't care about the hair texture. I don't care about the language you speak. I don't care about the flag you pledge allegiance to. What I care about is you identifying as African first. Black power.
Amen. I like that. We're gonna move it along real quick. Sister, I see you with a question right here. Go ahead.
This kind of goes into what you were just saying and what you just asked. But I was gonna ask, like myself and a lot of other people who are in the room, like our parents are immigrants. So
Yes.
what do you say to those immigrants who are like reluctant to join the Black American movement and basically what is your
Well, here's the thing. For me, it's not about joining the Black American movement. It's about joining the Pan-African liberation struggle, which takes place simultaneously on every continent, every country, every region, every city, right? In other words, the issues that we suffer from here are the same issues my brothers and sisters suffer from in London, where I'll be in 2 weeks. It's the same issues my brothers and sisters suffer from in Australia, where I'll be next month. I've been everywhere in the world except Australia, and I'm sure it will be no different there. White supremacy has replicated itself. Her question was, what do I say about African immigrants who come to the States and don't immerse themselves in the black struggle? Number one, as an American African, I'm gonna be patient with you. You wanna know why? Because you can be deported if you get too radical. So I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna give you, no, that is real. That is very real. A lot of our African immigrant brothers and sisters don't have US citizenship yet. If they get caught hanging around Dr. Umar too heavily, ICE will come get them, and I'm not talking about vanilla ice, right? So we gotta be patient to recognize what your political status is. That's no excuse not to support us though. There's still a place for you. It just can't be out front. See, the problem with the American African for the white power structure, we're the only black people in the country who cannot be deported. Excuse me, we're the only non-white people who cannot be deported because slavery destroyed that natural connection to our ancestral motherland. So in order to get rid of the American African, you have to commit genocide. You can't send us home, right? So the point is we need to have more conversations like this that are not hostile, that are not accusatory. We need to have a forum, right? A Pan-African forum on the diaspora and the relationships we have amongst each other in the States. Because it's not just an American African to an East African thing. You even have West African against East African. You got South African against Central African. You got Caribbean African against South American African. We are a race divided. As the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, the racism amongst African people might exceed the racism directed at African people. In fact, this is what I'm going to do. Diaspora comedy. I'm going to say this right now. And it's October.
Yes, sir.
We can do this before the year ends, or we can do it before the school year ends, meaning spring. I'm going to come back at no cost, and I'm going to facilitate. Diaspora Comedy going to host it. I'm going to facilitate a Pan-African town hall conversation, HBCU students only, on the relationships we have with each other through the diaspora. Are y'all feeling me, brothers and sisters? Let's get it out. Let's get it out. If you think the Jamaicans are too arrogant, say it. If you think the Eritreans are too bougie, say it. If you think the American Africans are too coolish, say it. And we're going to have a frank, honest, but respectful conversation about how we can work together. Because let me tell y'all this. The U.S. government has already said it. There was a national state security memorandum that went out in the 70s. You know what they said? The U.S. State Department, there's only one threat to America's foreign agenda and domestic. And guess what it was? They didn't say Pan-Africanism. They said operational unity between American blacks and blacks in Africa. They said if we let American Africans and continental Africans unite on a political and economic level, the one world order will be destroyed. We are the solution. Put your petty differences down. Stop focusing on where the slave ship dropped you off. Focus on where the slave ship picked you up. Black power.
That's a bar. That's a bar. Real quick, does anybody on this side have a question? I believe we're gonna go with a male. Go ahead, brother.
How you doing, Dr. Umar?
Peace, King.
Nice to meet you. So, I respect you a lot. Been following you for a long time. I know, I respect the vision and everything for the school and everything. I really wanted to see it come to fruition. So I know you're not looking for any outside sourcing, right? You said you want to get the sourcing or the funding from us. You don't want
All black dollars, self-determination, cornerstone of Pan-Africanism.
Yeah, so I just want to know, I always want to know this, what's the number you need? If somebody was to ask you, the exact number you need.
It's really not a number on the small school, good brother, the Marcus Garvey building, because we're just about done. So there's really no number there. Obviously, we still need the donations because we got to operate, but it's not about numbers anymore because we're almost done. With the high school, right now we're having contractors go through it to come up with that price. Once we know what it's going to cost to get the Honorable Frederick Douglass High School building up and running, because we have two schools, y'all, not one, two, right across the street from each other. Once we have the number on that, there will be another capital campaign fundraiser for that. So we're working on the number for the high school. Number don't matter no more with the small school because we're almost done. But we still need the donations because we have to operate. I'm hoping that tuition will be very low. If it's up to me, tuition won't be more than $500 or $600 because we own the school. We own it. Thanks to y'all, we own it, right? So we don't have to worry about paying mortgage. We own the block. We bought the block, okay? So we just gotta look and see what our expenses are gonna be. We're working on all that, and then we're gonna get up and running. So money don't matter for the small school, it do matter for the high school, and we're working on that right now.
Okay, we're gonna go to our last question for Dr. Umar. It's gotta be a lady, gentlemen, I'm sorry. He said, oh, come on.
Give him two.
We do have to get out of here.
Question, before you take the questions,
Yeah.
where am I gonna take the photos at? Are they gonna come up? There's a space out there. Okay.
Okay. So we got one question over here. Go ahead, miss.
Hi, Dr. Umar.
Peace and love, Queen.
It's my first year teaching.
She said it's her first year teaching.
Yeah.
Oh man, congratulations. Get that sister a hand. Black teachers matter.
So what message do you have for that group?
For which group?
13 to 14.
And what city do you teach in?
PWCS, so Prince William.
Well, number one, if you ever need me to come talk to the students, let me know. That's number one. Okay. Number two, 3 things teachers need to do more of. Invite the children to discuss their lives in the classroom. Our children have so much going on outside of school that they really have no place in school to process. Let them bring their life into the classroom. That's number one. Number two, you must include some sort of financial literacy aspect into the curriculum and the instruction because money matters to these children. You gotta give them that. And number 3, knowledge of self. Give them the African story. Give them the civil rights struggle. Give them the abolition struggle. Give them the African independence movement. We gotta give them knowledge of self. We gotta give them financial literacy, and we gotta give them a safe space to process their life in the school. Be careful how you talk to students in front of students, because if you disgrace them in front of their peers, they will turn over hell and heaven to pay you back. And they don't care how many times they get suspended or kicked out of class, they will make your life a living hell if you ever disrespect them. The best way to chastise a student is in private, away from the other students. Black power. Send me a resume. I think you're here naturally. Send me a resume.
We got one last.
Black queens forever!
We got one last question, man. Then we got to get Dr. Umar. He's on a schedule. I want y'all all to have enough time for the meet and greet as well, right? Go ahead, brother. In the white sweater. Go ahead.
Where the meet and greet at?
It's gonna be back there.
Okay.
Dr. Umar, love and respect.
Appreciate you.
This is Coopson, son of Coop.
Yes, sir.
From Ghana.
Ghana!
Stand up. So,
Aquaba! Wait, time out. You're not a bunny hopper, right?
no.
Do you date non-African women?
My wife just got in, and we got in a fight because of tonight, honestly.
Okay, strong.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, I gotta check. Cause some of my African brothers, y'all get here, y'all be bunny the fuck hopping. I'm just gonna call it a buck. Alright, I'm glad you're not, my brother. Okay, but you redeemed yourself.
It's a phase, it's a phase, it's a phase.
Okay, but the phase is over, right? We can phase that shit out, right? Alright.
Ask your question, brother.
Yeah, question. Who you voting for? You talked about organizing a black vote. What do we do? Elections in 2 weeks.
And
Yeah, no, but what do we do? What?
when I walk into a supermarket, if I'm looking for something, if I want me some nice Cinnabons,
But they're all out. So what do you go? You go for great.
then I don't buy any until they get back in stock. I don't give my vote unless I have a reason. I don't vote for religion. I don't vote for ritual. I don't vote because I can. And I damn sure don't vote because Barack Obama told me to. I vote. In other words, listen to me, King.
Hold on, brother. If you're gonna ask a question,
to
allow
me.
him to answer.
I'm not voting at this point because neither candidate has offered me anything worthy of my vote. I'm not telling you not to vote. Your vote ain't gonna matter until black people are organized.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I want to organize. I want.
Oh, we can get ready. We can get ready for the next election in 4 years. But it's almost nothing you can do in 3 weeks. It's a wrap.
Go back to Ghana and wait 4 years to come back.
For what? No, you could, but you don't have to. Listen, we need to start organizing for the next presidential election. We've already wasted this one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Dr. Umar. Y'all
Black
give it up
power,
for him. Give it up for him.
I'll be coming back there.